On this particular instance, I've instructed everybody to stand down because the shit that I've heard talked about regarding me, my character, my career, my work ethic, you wanted my attention. You got it.
Let me paint the scene for you. Stephen A. Smith, white shirt crisp, eyes locked on the camera, and he drops the line, "You wanted my attention? You got it." Now, on TV, that's not just a phrase, that's a warning shot. You can see it in his posture, the way his hand comes up, like he's part traffic cop, part preacher, and you feel something's about to go down. Have you ever witnessed someone so composed, yet you know the fuse is burning? That's the setup the moment before the conflict. Because this isn't just about sports, it's about reputation management and a public figure defending his name in real time. The technical term here is brand integrity. And folks, there's nothing more combustible on television than a personality with nothing to lose and everything to prove. And here's where it gets spicy. Stephen A. isn't just defending his hot takes, he's drawing a line in the sand. When someone tells everyone to stand down, they're trying to control the narrative, what PR people call gatekeeping. But instead of backing off, Stephen A. stares right through that lens and says, "Nah, that's not happening." Now you might be thinking, is this just performance? But let's be real, when a man's name and career are on the line, that's not just acting, that's self preservation. And trust me, the internet noticed. So the stage is set, integrity versus influence. Stephen A. isn't just talking to his audience, he's talking to the power players off camera. That's the real drama. And if you blink, you'll miss it. So ask yourself, when someone tries to silence a voice as loud as Stephen A.'s, what do you expect to happen next? Spoiler. The comment section has thoughts, and we're diving in next. Alright, let's pivot from the studio to the digital arena, because sometimes the real show is in the comments. As soon as that clip hit the web, people lit up the replies like it was playoff season. One top comment asks, "Telling everyone to stand down? Were you supposed to be low?" And it's hilarious, but also dead serious. See, that's called crowdsourcing skepticism. The audience is questioning the invisible authority, those shadowy decision makers who think they can orchestrate support or silence with one directive. Then, at Donald Holbrook 7317 comes through with those double confused face emojis, instructed to stand down. That's a whole vibe, a visual way of saying, make it make sense. In internet culture, emojis are like tone amplifiers turning written words into gut reactions. And in this case, the audience is sniffing out the politics. They're not buying the narrative, they're buying popcorn. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just typical internet noise? But no, this is live feedback, an unfiltered pulse check. The technical term here is audience engagement. And when that engagement is skeptical, it signals to everyone, producers, execs, even Stephen A., that something bigger is brewing. Let me tell you, people don't just listen anymore, they participate. When the comments start echoing what you're thinking, it's like a digital call and response. The conflict hits its peak here and nobody's holding back. So, what's the resolution? The viewers are calling out power plays, laughing in the face of backstage politics. If there's a message, it's clear. The audience is awake, alert, and they're not following orders. Let's talk about one phrase that keeps popping up. They woke the bear. Now, you might be asking, what does that even mean? It's more than a meme or a snappy comeback. In media psychology, that's what we call a trigger event, something that takes a simmering issue and turns it into a boiling point. When you try to silence the outspoken, you only make them louder. That's the heartbeat of this moment. Stephen A. built his entire identity on being loud, unfiltered, and, yes, sometimes controversial. But the audience? They love it. When it's Zachary Jones 9359 says, "They woke the bear," he's capturing a sense of anticipation, almost excitement, like the underdog is about to flip the script. Now, imagine you're in that chair, your whole career is on blast, but the fans are roaring behind you. It's the classic us versus them dynamic. In branding, we call this community buy in. Stephen A. isn't just surviving, he's thriving off the energy. The conflict has shifted now. It's not just workplace drama, it's a public display of resilience. You ever heard the phrase pressure makes diamonds? That's what's happening here. The louder the pushback, the more support Stephen A attracts. It's not just about sports. It's about permission to be authentic in a world that loves to mute big personalities. So here's my question to you. When you see someone get louder in the face of opposition, do you cheer them on or do you side with the silence? Because make no mistake, the bear is awake, and he's not going back to sleep. Now, let's shift gears to the love pouring in for Stephen A. Comments like, I have the utmost respect for you. That's all you do is work. That's not just hype, that's recognition of work ethic, one of those technical terms that separates flash from substance. Let me tell you a story. A decade ago, Stephen A was grinding in radio studios, often the last to leave, the first to pitch a new angle. That consistency, the daily habit of showing up even when no one's watching, that's what fans feel when they post, I love you, bro. They're not just fans, they're witnesses to the grind. In sports, we talk about legacy all the time, how you're remembered after the lights go out. For Stephen A, legacy isn't just about controversy, it's about the relentless pursuit of respect day after day. The conflict here? Building a career in the spotlight, knowing every misstep is public record. So when the audience leaves positive comments, it's not just flattery, it's validation. The resolution? Years of hard work finally get their due. There's nothing passive about it. It's active, ongoing, gritty. Ask yourself, if the cameras turned off tomorrow, would your grind still be respected? For Stephen A, the answer is loud and clear, and that's why people don't want to see him fold. Let's bring it all home. The real conversation isn't just about one viral clip or a heated back and forth. It's about something much bigger, freedom of speech. When that Lorna Curry 1243 says, keep your freedom of speech. If they don't like you, turn the channel. They're not just talking about Stephen A. They're talking about every voice that refuses to be boxed in. Here's the conflict. Powerful institutions versus individual expression. In media law, we call this the editorial independence problem, the tension between speaking your truth and staying in the good graces of the gatekeepers. Let me put you in Stephen A's shoes. You've built a brand on honesty, and now the suits want you to dial it back. Do you stay and fight, risking your career but keeping your soul intact? Or do you walk away with your head high, refusing to be muzzled? Now you might be thinking, is it worth it? That's the question every loud voice has to answer. The resolution isn't easy, but the comments make one thing clear. People are rooting for the fighter, not the follower. So, as we wrap up, I want you to think. In a world where everyone has a mic but only a few have the guts to use it, whose side are you on? Drop your take below Team Stand Down or Team Woke the Bear. Your answer says more than you think.